Hello, loves. This is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, back again with another episode of Chronic Wellness. I'm so glad you're here. Today, as we continue to talk about this situation of being shut in, for those of us who are fortunate enough to have shelter, we are sheltering in place. And I want to talk for a moment about food preparation. Y'all, for those of us who are chronically ill, this can be one of the toughest things is figuring out how we're going to feed ourselves. And if we happen to live in a home with parents or spouses, maybe we are not alone in figuring this out. And that is an incalculable gift, truly. If I had to feed myself every day, there would be a large number of days where that would be a spoonful of peanut butter, maybe a cereal or protein bar, maybe just cereal, maybe nothing, maybe ramen. I mean, it would be bleak. It would be really bad choices. And I am really blessed in that I have a loving and supportive wife who is right now unemployed. So before I was sick, I was the primary cook in our house. I love to cook. I'm a pretty adventurous cook. I'm a pretty good cook. And these hands, this body, this pain threshold, I now don't cook very much and I miss it. But what that means is right now, with my wife having more time, I have a fantastic sous chef. So what we are doing right now is more cooking than we've done in the past. And part of that is that I can be in the kitchen directing. Occasionally I can be in the kitchen helping. And so here are some pro tips about cooking. If you have the ability to have somebody else's assistance, bully, because a lot of this is too hard to do. But fantastic casseroles, like layering enchiladas instead of rolling them. Make more than you need and freeze the rest. Same thing goes for like a lasagna, any kind of hearty soup or stew or chili. And if you are a small household, as we are, don't think lasagna pan, think bread pan. Make these in smaller quantities so that when you defrost them, you're not having to eat, 16 portions, but just 2 or 4 portions. And one thing that has really served me about occasionally getting those meal prep kits is that the more something is already prepped for me, the more possible any healthy meal is possible in the future. And so I kid you not, like if you like a pasta dish that requires, some cut up vegetables and some ground meat, even if pasta doesn't freeze well, by all means, brown that meat when you have some energy. Cut up those vegetables, freeze all of that, so that sometimes in the future, you just have to thaw that and then quickly boil your noodles and bam, you've got a meal. And so thinking creatively about how you can feed yourself both now and in the future. And so if that means you've got a great crock pot meal, but it feeds, 20, cool. Make that crock pot meal and then invest in some small containers, or heck, just put 2 cups of it in a freezer safe Ziploc bag and start putting those Ziploc bags flat in your freezer. Label them real good so you know what you're getting, and do freezer meals that way. So think about how you can strategically make your meals feed you now and in the future, and what work that you're doing for a meal tonight could also be part of a meal on down the road. And whether that means you're chopping vegetables for tomorrow night's meal as well as for tonight's meal, or chopping vegetables that you're going to freeze, let your work serve you now and in the future. That's my tip. All right, I hope you're staying healthy, safe, and sane. And until we're together again, I thank you for your time and attention. I would love to hear from you, so please don't hesitate to sound off. And if you're listening to this on podcast, I sure do need more ratings. So it would please me greatly if you would surf on over to iTunes or wherever you are listening to this podcast and leave me a review. Tell people what you think of what I've got to say. All right, thanks for being here, and until we are together again, be well.